This is the Tonor TA20 mic activator, and if you're like me and use a professional dynamic microphone like the Shure SM7B or the RE20, you'll know how gain hungry these microphones are. You often have to have your preamp gain pretty high, which can cause all kinds of audio issues like background hiss or hum, which doesn't sound very good, especially if you're using a cheaper interface or mixer. And that's where the TA20 comes in. This is a mic activator, and it's basically designed to boost the signal of your quiet microphone so that the audio is loud enough. I'm going to go ahead and assume that if you're watching a video like this, you're a little bit like me and you're into content creation or live streaming or podcasts and stuff, and that means that you've bought yourself a dynamic microphone because that's the best kind of microphone for this type of content. It avoids lots of background noise, but then you realize the interface that you have isn't quite powerful enough to power a microphone like this, so you Google and find that you might need a CLOUDLIFTER, so you Google the price of that and it's going to be very expensive. So then you go on YouTube and search, are there any alternatives to a CLOUDLIFTER? And that's brought you to this video, and yes, that's exactly what the Tonor is for. It does exactly the same thing as the CLOUDLIFTER does, except it's half the price. So for that £75, you get a very basic unboxing experience. You get a cardboard box, which is just okay. It keeps the Mac activator safe. You get some instructions, which no one's probably going to read. And also, finally, you get the mic activator itself with no cables or anything, just the bare bones activator. And well, that's about all you get in this box. I don't know what interface or mixer you're using for your specific setup, but for me personally, I'm currently using a Go XLR, the full-size Go XLR, which you may or may not know, just about has enough preamp gain, preamp power to drive an SM7B. And as you can see, if I click on my mic setup, I'm using about 60 decibels of the 70 decibels of gain, which puts it in that threshold of maybe being too high, and you might actually get like background noise or hiss or all sorts of audio nonsense that you don't want it to be there. But if I now attach the Tonor mic activator to my SM7B and then go back to my Go XLR and change from dynamic to condenser, it means I can now lower the gain from 60 all the way down to like 30 or 35 decibels and still get a relatively decent level. These mic activators work by using the phantom power of your preamp. So you take your preamp, plug it into one of these mic activators, and then that outputs a signal which is actually 20 to 25 decibels louder than usual without adding in any additional like hiss or hum or horrible background noise, which could ruin the quality of your audio. And that 25 decibels of gain is the difference between this type of volume, which as you can hear is very quiet and just not great to listen to, and this volume, which is much louder, much cleaner, and just easier to listen to for long periods of time. Obviously, this is a bit of an extreme example of what you would do with equipment like this, but I want to demonstrate the fact that you can take your high quality, expensive audio in almost any location you need it to go and still get high quality recordings without that like hiss and hum and horrible background noise. So I've got the SM7B plugged into the Tonor mic activator down there into like a cheap Behringer mixer, which normally wouldn't sound very good if I plug this directly into it. And I'm sorry if you hear a lot of sound and background noise because I'm outside and there's tons of people and wind. But as you can hear, other than the wind and stuff, audio quality sounds pretty decent, and that proves that if you have a podcast or if you want to do like any type of audio recording outside in the field or in a different location, all you need is a cheap XLR recorder, and then you use the Tonor mic activator to boost that signal so you get clean sounding audio no matter what you're recording. You're probably wondering why I'm randomly just in the corner of my room right now with my microphone, and the answer is, well, I want to get as far away from my PC as possible so that you don't pick up any fan noise, or at least a little fan noise as possible. And I've brought the mixer inside so I can kind of test out what this microphone sounds like if you plugged it directly in and just use the preamps on the Behringer mixer. And right now the preamps are set to like 90% of where they can go, and on my OBS I can see that I'm roughly hitting around minus 12, minus 15 decibels or so. So it's a usable level, but the issue is I'm going to have to boost that a little bit to get it as a good output level. And as you can hear, it's going to be some like background noise, some hiss, some glitchiness, which isn't going to be very good, and people probably won't enjoy listening to this for long periods of time. I know I wouldn't. However, if I take the mic activator instead and add it to this, you get audio quality which sounds more like this instead, which hopefully sounds a lot cleaner and more professional and removes a lot of that static and hiss that was happening in the previous setup. So now I've added the mic activator to the mixer, and that means that I can drop the gain from that like 90% position down to more like 40 or 50% or so, which is going to hopefully lower all that background like hiss and horribleness that you was hearing before, and now this would sound more professional and hopefully be something that you could listen to for a long period of time, especially if you were running like a podcast or a live stream or just anything that people actually want to listen to, because the previous recording was awful and very distracting. Honestly, I don't think there's much else to say about the Tonor TA20. It does everything you'd need it to and probably a little bit more, because, well, it's decently priced to come in at like £75. It's well built because it's all metal construction, and also raises your gain 20 to 25 decibels, which means you can have good sounding, clean sounding audio which people will be happy to listen to. However, I'm going to leave it up to you depending on like if you need it or not, because, well, it depends on the interface you have and the microphone you have and stuff like that, because obviously I was using it on a Go XLR, which I don't 100% need it because the preamps in that are probably good enough. Honestly though, if you're watching a video like this, you're already considering getting a CLOUDLIFTER and want to find an alternative option which is a bit more affordable, and that's exactly what this Tonor TA20 is. It does the same thing, it's built almost as good, and also it just does the job that you need it to do. As always though, I'll put some links down below in the doobly-doo for you to check out all the things I've mentioned in this video, and also here's some other videos about audio and content creation, and I'll see you all in the next one.